Listen closely. Right now, as you hear these words, a non-renewable asset is quietly slipping away from you. It doesn't leave with a loud alarm or a dramatic crash. It vanishes in absolute silence. No amount of wealth, influence, or status will ever allow you to buy back a single second of it. The terrifying reality isn't just that you're losing it, it's that you're actively trading it away. Every sunrise hands you a fresh balance of 24 hours, and every single day, without thinking, you barter pieces of your future for immediate, cheap distractions that will hold zero value by next week. A few minutes mindlessly checking a screen, 10 extra minutes avoiding a tough project, a quiet promise that I'll start next Monday. It feels harmless in the moment, but those micro-decisions are the exact bricks building your actual life. Most people convince themselves they are simply short on time, but the harsh truth is that you aren't running out of time, you are giving it away. While you spend your life observing other people build their dreams through a glowing rectangle, your own life remains on hold, perpetually waiting for you to begin. Centuries ago, the Stoic philosopher Seneca pointed out a bizarre human contradiction. People guard their physical property, their money and their homes, with fierce aggression, yet they treat their time as if it were infinite and worthless. But time is the one currency you can only spend once. Lost money can be remade. Lost health can often be restored. Lost years are gone forever. What if the life you want isn't waiting for a stroke of genius or perfect luck? What if it's simply waiting for you to stop throwing away the hours required to construct it? In this deep dive, we are exploring 12 fundamental Stoic principles designed to audit your habits, reclaim your mental focus, strip away useless noise, and force you to start building the existence you've been putting off. Your destiny is rarely ruined by one massive, tragic mistake. It is dismantled by 1,000 subtle distractions. Every unneeded alert, every meaningless online debate, every automatic urge to pull out your phone during a silent moment quietly fractures your attention span. And when your focus is endlessly fragmented, your years vanish without a trace. The ancient Stoics recognized that attention is the ultimate form of sovereignty. If any external event, notification, or person can pull your focus wherever they want, whenever they want, you are not a free person, you are a puppet on invisible strings. Marcus Aurelius, ruler of the vast Roman Empire, constantly dragged his mind back to the present moment. Amidst war, politics, and plague, he reminded himself to lock onto the task directly in front of him, rather than letting his thoughts scatter across variables he couldn't control. Consider the physics of light. Ambient light gently brightens a room, but when you concentrate that exact same light into a tight, singular beam, it becomes a laser capable of slicing through steel. Your mind operates on the exact same law. When your focus is split between 10 trivial matters, you stay busy, but you never move forward. When you direct that same focus onto one clear target, even an hour of work yields incredible output. Stop responding to every digital chime as if it's a national emergency. Stop granting entry to every opinion thrown your way. Stop reaching for a screen the second you feel a moment of boredom or discomfort. Your mind is a fortress, and your attention is the front gate. Whatever you permit to pass through that gate will shape your internal world. Ask yourself honestly right now, who owns your attention, you or the environment around you? One of the most insidious lies you tell yourself is, I'll execute when the time is right. When work slows down, when I feel more energized, when the financial situation calms down, when I feel truly ready. Here is the truth. Life almost never calms down for anyone attempting to do something substantial. Chaos, obligations, self-doubt, and unexpected roadblocks are permanent features of existence. Stoicism was never built for ideal environments. It was forged for real-world friction. Epictetus taught that while you rarely choose the starting conditions of your journey, you possess total authority over how you respond to them. Waiting for immaculate circumstances is simply procrastination disguising itself as preparation. Think of a seed buried deep in the frozen earth. It doesn't sit underground, demanding warmth and bright sunlight before it decides to crack open. It fights through the dark dirt first, long before it ever feels the sun. Your first steps will likely feel clumsy, uncertain, and unpolished. That is completely normal. Action builds clarity. Waiting produces paralysis. You don't map out the entire path before taking a step. You step forward, stumble, adjust, and the route uncovers itself as you move. Consider the history of great creators, inventors, and builders. Take someone like James Dyson, who spent years going through over 5,000 failed prototypes before perfecting his design. Breakthroughs don't happen because conditions were smooth. They happen because someone kept refining their work through thousands of ugly, imperfect attempts. Stop asking yourself if you feel ready. Start asking, what meaningful action can I complete in the next 60 minutes? People rarely waste their lives in one massive, dramatic collapse. They waste them in tiny, invisible increments. 15 minutes of scrolling here, 40 minutes of overthinking there, 2 hours lost to low-grade entertainment. Each individual block of time feels too trivial to matter. But when you stack those blocks over months and years, they form the structure of a wasted life. Your life is nothing more than the total sum of your present moments. Marcus Aurelius anchored his awareness in the task at hand because he understood a basic equation. High-quality moments equal a high-quality life. You cannot build a powerful future if you continuously abandon the present hour. Imagine a master blacksmith working with raw iron. Every hammer blow is deliberate. One strike flattens the edge, another shapes the curve, another tempers the core. No swing is wasted. Your day demands the same intentionality. Every hour should do at least one of the following: strengthen your body, sharpen your intellect, fortify your character, refine a useful skill, deepen a key relationship, or move you toward a primary goal. If an hour accomplishes none of these, audit why you gave it away. This is where true discipline diverges from fleeting motivation. Motivation relies on mood. Do I feel like doing this today? Discipline relies on standard. What does my purpose require of me today? A life guided by mood requires constant internal debate. A life guided by standards cuts out the debate entirely. Look at elite performers across any discipline. Exceptional achievements are rarely the result of dramatic, heroic gestures. They are the compounding interest of unglamorous, highly disciplined daily habits repeated over years. Sometimes the obstacle preventing you from reaching the next level isn't that you need to do more. It's that you refuse to eliminate the weight holding you down. You can possess sharp intelligence, relentless drive, and immense talent, yet remain completely stagnant because your daily schedule is clogged with trivial habits, low-value commitments, and unproductive relationships. The Stoics mastered the art of distinguishing essential matters from background noise. They recognized that an overstuffed schedule breeds an exhausted, easily manipulated mind. Progress frequently requires subtraction, not addition. Think of a sculptor working on a block of marble. He doesn't create the statue by adding clay. He reveals it by chipping away everything that doesn't belong. Your true potential is already inside you, but it remains buried under layers of bad habits, mindless media intake, and useless drama. Stop asking only, what should I add to my routine? Start asking, what must I cut out immediately? Look at historic leaders and innovators who cultivated extreme simplicity. Steve Jobs famously wore the same daily outfit to eliminate decision fatigue, saving his mental capital strictly for vital choices. Saying no isn't a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate defense mechanism for your priorities. Every yes you give to something irrelevant is an automatic no to your own goals. Audit your evening and morning routines with radical honesty. What habit consistently ruins your momentum? What conversations leave you mentally drained? What activities do you engage in simply out of comfort or obligation? You don't need to reinvent your entire existence overnight. Eliminate one unhelpful commitment today. Protect that new space and fill it with deep work, learning, reflection, or rest. You can waste a massive portion of your life without ever appearing lazy on the outside. You can spend all day consuming content, analyzing news, tracking online debates, and watching videos about self-improvement, yet end the day having accomplished absolute zero. Consumption often creates a deceptive illusion of progress while leaving your real-world circumstances completely unchanged. The Stoics understood that your mind takes on the shape of what you repeatedly feed it. Marcus Aurelius warned himself to carefully screen his thoughts, knowing that mental clutter eventually dictates real-world behavior. Imagine carefully drinking clean water all day, but intentionally pouring toxic waste into your glass right before bed. You'd never wonder why you felt sick. Yet millions of people do this to their minds daily. They read a good book for 20 minutes and then spend 3 hours soaking in sensationalism, rage bait, and lifestyle comparison online. Then they wonder why they feel restless, anxious, and incapable of focused work. Look at master investors like Warren Buffett. A massive portion of his day is spent sitting quietly in a room, reading foundational documents and thinking deeply, rather than frantically reacting to every market ticker or opinion piece. A powerful mind requires quiet, deep reading and focused reflection, not an endless stream of digital noise. Ask yourself, is what I am consuming today sharpening me or making me anxious and passive? If you spend hours watching other people build their lives, comparison slowly replaces real ambition. If you constantly absorb outrage, inner peace vanishes. Swap mindless scrolling for skill acquisition. Swap background noise for strategic silence. Treat your mind with the same discipline you would treat your body. There is a critical micro-moment right before an hour is wasted. It is the moment you open a negotiation with yourself. Just 5 more minutes. I worked hard today. I'll start tomorrow. I'm just not in the right mindset right now. The core problem isn't that these thoughts occur. The problem is that every time you yield to them, you break a contract with yourself, training your brain to treat your own commitments as meaningless. Stoic self-mastery is established when reason commands your impulses, not the other way around. Epictetus taught that real freedom is internal control. Your body and feelings may demand immediate comfort, but your rational mind must command action. Think of a ship setting sail across an ocean. A tiny 1-degree error in navigation seems completely irrelevant in harbor, but after weeks at sea, that single degree off course leaves you hundreds of miles away from your intended destination. Your daily compromises operate the exact same way. One missed work session or one wasted evening doesn't destroy your future. But repeating those small compromises rewires your baseline standards until you wake up years later somewhere you never wanted to be. If your actions depend entirely on how you feel, your destiny will be ruled by mood swings. When you're inspired, you execute. When you're tired, you quit. That isn't freedom, that is emotional volatility. Take an approach built on fixed rules. Create non-negotiables. If you set a time to execute a task, begin immediately when the clock strikes. If you committed to reading before opening social media, keep the rule. Make the decision once and shut down the trial in your mind before feelings can object. Every time you honor a promise to yourself, you build unbreakable self-trust. Every time you break one for temporary comfort, you make your next excuse easier to believe. A primary driver of wasted lives in the modern age is an absolute intolerance for boredom. The moment silence hits, hands reach for a phone. The moment a task becomes difficult, the brain searches for an escape. The moment momentum slows down, people abandon the current project to chase a shiny new idea. Most people don't lack potential. They simply haven't trained their minds to sit through the monotonous work required to achieve anything of real value. Great achievements are constructed inside the precise moments people run away from. A book is written line by line through hours of quiet concentration. A skill is mastered through thousands of boring, unglamorous repetitions. A business is built through endless operational details that draw no applause. The world sees the flashy final result, but that result was forged in silent, repetitive hours when nobody was watching. Marcus Aurelius didn't expect every moment of leadership to be exhilarating. He aimed to make every moment useful. If you only work when you feel inspired, your progress will be fragile. But if you train yourself to operate steadily through boredom, you gain an immense competitive advantage over a world hooked on fast dopamine. Think of a river cutting through solid granite. It doesn't accomplish this through brute force or dramatic displays. It achieves it through relentless, quiet persistence in the exact same direction, day after day, year after year. Modern devices are dangerous, primarily because endless stimulation conditions your brain to demand instant novelty. You become uncomfortable with waiting, uncomfortable with slow progress, and you falsely mistake boredom for a sign that a task isn't working. Sometimes boredom isn't a signal to switch directions. It's a test to see if you can hold your course without immediate applause. The next time you're working and your brain demands a distraction, stay in the chair, complete another page, write another line, push through the urge to escape. Master boredom, and you master your output. There is a fundamental truth that most people actively avoid because it makes them uncomfortable. Your time on this earth is strictly limited, not eventually, not in some abstract future. Your finite life is ticking away right now. Every passing minute is an asset spent that can never be recovered. The Stoics didn't dwell on death out of depression or pessimism. They reflected on mortality to sharpen their focus on life. Marcus Aurelius routinely reminded himself that his existence was temporary, using that awareness to cut through ego, fear, and petty arguments. When you fully digest the fact that your time is finite, trivial distractions lose their grip. You stop asking, "How can I kill time?" and start asking, "Is this activity worthy of my remaining life?" Picture an hourglass filled with sand. You can't slow down the grains falling through the center. You can only decide whether you are awake enough to use the time represented by those falling grains. Steve Jobs spoke frequently about using the awareness of mortality as an ultimate decision-making tool. Remembering that you will eventually lose everything clears away the fear of failure, embarrassment, or judgment from others, leaving only what is truly essential. At the end of your day, review your hours without rationalizations. Where did your time go? Which actions built up the person you aspire to become? Which hours vanished into nothingness? Do not view your past mistakes with shame. View your habits with objective clarity. Awareness without immediate course correction is just another stall tactic. Tomorrow offers another block of hours, but today is gone forever. Make the hours count. A quiet, efficient way to waste your existence is to live according to someone else's schedule. You watch someone achieve success at 25, build a massive business at 30, or gain rapid recognition, and suddenly your own path feels inadequate. You stop building your foundation and start comparing. You stop running your race and start watching theirs. The Stoics identified social comparison as a form of self-imposed mental imprisonment. Epictetus continually urged his students to direct their energy strictly toward what was within their own control, while completely letting go of external benchmarks. Your task is not to hit milestones at the exact same age or speed as someone else. Your task is to maximize the specific hand you were dealt. Consider the growth cycle of a bamboo tree. For 4 consecutive years, it remains almost entirely invisible above ground, while establishing a massive, complex root structure beneath the surface. To an untrained observer, nothing is happening. Then, in its 5th year, it shoots up 90 feet in a matter of weeks. Real development often looks like that. Just because your progress isn't publicly visible yet doesn't mean your efforts are wasted. The modern world makes comparison effortless by broadcasting everyone's curated highlights while concealing their daily struggles, late-night failures. Build your skills silently. Strengthen your character quietly. Let others chase quick validation while you build an unshakable foundation. Every time you choose immediate ease over required effort, you enter a terrible financial transaction with your future self. You trade long-term capability for a momentary burst of comfort. You take 2 hours of mindless entertainment now, but pay with a missed skill later. You stay in bed today, but pay with diminished self-confidence tomorrow. You avoid a difficult conversation now, and pay with compounded stress down the road. The Stoics warned that an over-reliance on comfort creates a fragile mind. Seneca deliberately set aside periods to live on basic food and wear coarse clothing, forcing himself to confront mild discomfort so he would never become dependent on luxury. Think of a ship anchored safely inside a calm harbor. The water is smooth, there are no rough waves, and there is zero immediate danger. But a ship was not designed to rust away in a calm harbor. It was built to navigate the open ocean. Your comfort zone offers safety, but it also functions as a prison. Every time you push through a difficult, necessary task despite wanting to avoid it, you expand your overall capacity. When your brain urges you to postpone a task, recognize what is happening. Your current self is attempting to extract comfort by placing a heavy burden on your future self. Do not allow the transaction. Finish the difficult task early. Complete the physical training. Make the call you're avoiding. Turn off the distraction. Immediate ease delivers temporary pleasure. Self-discipline delivers long-term self-respect. The final trap that leads to a wasted life is waiting for a grand, dramatic turning point. People pass years waiting for a new year. He didn't wait for dramatic historical moments to practice Stoicism. He practiced it in his daily journal, his morning routines, and his routine meetings. Your future isn't built on the rare days when everything goes right and inspiration is high. It is built on the mundane days when nobody is looking, applause is absent, and you still execute your work simply because it aligns with your principles. Think of a detailed canvas. A single paint stroke. You could look at it and assume it makes zero difference to the overall image. But thousands of deliberate individual strokes eventually compound into a masterpiece. Your days are those individual strokes. One disciplined morning might feel pointless. One focused study session might feel insignificant, but repeated consistently over 1,000 days, one wasted morning teaches your brain that abandoning standards is acceptable. One focused, productive day reinforces your capacity for self-mastery. When you wake up tomorrow, skip the grand, overwhelming promises. Focus on a tactical question. What is one essential task I can complete today that my future self will thank me for? Complete it, then repeat the process the following day. If you cannot say no to low-value requests, you will never have the time required to build a high-value life. Every time you say yes to something trivial, an unnecessary meeting, a low-value social obligation, or a pointless conversation, you are quietly saying no to your own priorities. Slowly, your schedule fills up with other people. Stoicism demands clear boundaries. Seneca observed that individuals who try to belong to everyone end up belonging to no one, burning through their short lives trying to satisfy external demands. Your time, mental bandwidth, and physical energy are strictly limited resources. If you hand them out casually to whoever demands them, you will have nothing left when it matters. It doesn't matter how thick the stone walls are, if anyone can walk inside and plunder the keep at any moment. Your schedule functions the same way. Learn to say no, cleanly, and without endless self-justification. Say no to conversations that revolve around gossip. You don't need to be aggressive, but you must be firm. Protecting your time isn't selfish. It is an absolute requirement if you intend to accomplish anything meaningful. Take these 12 principles and use them as a mirror to evaluate your current habits. Protect your focus. Act without waiting for ideal conditions. Audit your daily hours. Prune the unnecessary. Protect your mental inputs. Stop negotiating with yourself. Embrace repetitive work. Remember, your time is finite. The Stoics never offered a promise of infinite time or easy success. They offered something far more valuable, a framework for living with intentionality, using the exact amount of time you have left. You cannot alter yesterday. You cannot pause the clock. But you possess total authority over how you deploy your focus right now. Stop donating your peak hours to trivial distractions while giving. Eventually, the excuses will lose their appeal, the distractions will fade, and you will be left with one definitive question. What did you do with the time you were given? Ensure you don't have to answer that question with regret. Put the distractions away, lock into your work, and build a life worthy of your potential.